Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Is everyone able to hear me? I'm doing a quick sound check to check if everyone's able to hear us nice and loud and clear. Shit, 10 July. All right. Hey, Rhino. Hey, Leo. Hey, Samuel. Right. Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning in nice and early. Right. Oh, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Right. If any other sound comes, it'll probably be just from my cat. Right. It's beside me today. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm just gonna give it a minute for anyone else to just about stream in, right? And of course, the if you guys have any questions about trading in general, right? Feel free to ask me. I can take a couple of minutes to answer the questions. Because the previous round, I think we did spend a bit of time answering some less trading, less week ahead kind of strategies, right? But more generally, right? I think it's been a while since we had a chance to talk about some of the more what's the word for it? The more general kind of trading approaches and strategies. Yeah. So anytime you guys have a questions, feel free to ask me, right? Otherwise, I'll be jumping into the pre-market analysis today, right? Hey, Philip, thanks for tuning in nice and early, right? Depending on where you are again, right? I think the majority of you guys are in Europe or London, right? I think the majority of you guys are in Europe or London, right? If you are in Asia, yeah, it's gonna be pretty early. It's gonna be pretty early if you're in Asia, right? Yeah, Milu, nice to see you tune in once again. Oh, Jamaica, all right. What time is it in Jamaica? Let me just check. What time is it in Jamaica? Oh, it's 3 p.m. Oh wow, that's a pretty good time. That's a pretty good time. 3 p.m. right on a Sunday. It's perfect. Perfect for trading. Yeah. Perfect looking at the markets, right? That's like a lazy Sunday kind of thing. I got Kenya too. All right. Okay, guys. So let's kick off. Just let me turn this on. Yeah, let's kick off today's webinar. Right, it's our live market analysis, pre-market live analysis. For those of you guys who are here for the first time, right, this is where we look at the markets. What are key economic news events that are going to happen this week? Sorry, just the fan is a bit strong here. Yeah. What are the key economic news events that are going to happen this week, and of course the key technical setups, right? So if you watched last week's setup, we were banking a lot of the call on DXY weakness, right? And sorry, excuse me. Yeah, and it did turn out quite nicely. All right. Now I'm just going to leave this here for a quick minute while I get a glass of water. All right, give me a quick second. I forgot to get a glass of water. Okay, guys, I'm back. Right. Yeah, right. No, I should get myself a coffee instead. The only problem if I get myself a coffee is that from 5 a.m. to about 9 a.m., I won't be able to get any sleep. Right. So I might join you guys in trading the market. Yeah. All right. You got a nice early request for US 30 coming right in. Cable 2. Daniel, nice to see you. Ruben, nice to see you too, of course. Leo. Oh yeah, Leo. I saw you earlier. Sorry. Yeah, Zoomies. Yeah, I guess Zoomie's like the cat. She's right here beside me. Not sure if you guys can see her. Come, Leah. Do you want to see? Oops. Here, do you want to see everyone? I'm not sure if everyone can see her. Um, there you go. Hey there. It is the original indicator, right? The original I call it indicator, right? They helped us forecast the markets a couple of times pretty accurately, right? Is indicator if you get it. Um, yeah. Hey Nick, good morning. Yeah, nice to follow on Instagram, right? We don't post as much on Instagram ever since we got a kid, right? But she has been assimilating well with the kid, right? Yes, the dollar yen started to plummet means that yen is actually getting a lot of strength, right? So we take a quick look at that in a minute. All right. Now, but let's begin today's session. All right. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Nice and early, right? Remember, disclaimer: everything in this video is educational in nature. Nothing should be construed as investment or trading advice. So please do your own due diligence before you guys trade. All right. Now, just let me pull up. Let me make sure we have it all here. Okay, yeah. So what we usually do, yeah, is we cover key news events for the week ahead, right? So this is the part where just kind of look at what the big news events around the corner for this week. We got a lot of CPI and PPI kind of data, inflation data, um, on in focus this week. All right. But yeah, it's after that we look at some of the analysis on the majors, right? Followed by custom requests. Okay. Now for those of you guys who are here for the first time, right? Introducing your host for today. My name is Desmond Leong, right? Run the award-winning research firm Everest Fortune Group and also the Forex Army, right? And so we're finalists are 2019, 2020, 2021, right? And of course, we usually work with many major financial institutions on helping them forecast where the markets are heading. But we have a special partnership with IC Markets where we're bringing you guys the good stuff, the juicy stuff, right? Stuff that take a trading to the next level. Okay, but now let's begin today's session. All right, let's begin today's session. Leandro, nice to see you tune in. All right, so just cover a couple of things, right? The things to focus the key summary, right, is a June unemployment and economy overview, right? So it basically on Friday, right, the non-farm payroll, right, employment growth in June didn't meet economists' prediction with only 209,000 versus the 224,000 forecasted, right? But unemployment did kind of technically go down slightly from 3.7 3.6. The wage growth was slightly higher than expected, monthly increase of 0.4 and a yearly increase of 4.4%. But how does this affect the markets, right? So all of that would mean little if we don't try to make sense of it. Okay, Ahmed, nice to see you tune in, right? I'm nice and early. I'm okay, right? Thanks, right? And thank you, Nick. Thank you very much, right? Despite okay, so the first thing is the Federal Reserve's potential response, right? So, first thing we knew, of course, is that it's lower than expected job growth, right? Only 209,000 new jobs versus the 224,000 forecasted, right? But the Fed is still expected to increase interest rates, because of other strong economic factors. Okay? The market expects a 0.25% increase in interest rates with the expectation for it to reach 5.44% by November 2023. Right? Now, another important thing to take note is that interest rate cuts are not expected until mid 2024. Yes, so it's going to be a lot more expensive for us, right? Just to get those home loans and stuff, right? But of course, the broader market interest rate increasing is going to take is going to affect the job market, right? You know, the cost of borrowing is going to be more, right? We've seen in the tech layoffs, you know, that's what interest rate does, right? The higher the interest rate, the more costly it is for businesses to operate, and they usually pass on the cost to customers, right? No, to their employees, right? One way or another, right? If for you, those are the guys who watch the bond market, interesting thing to take note is that the 2-year treasury bond, you know, it reached a 16-year high of 5.12%, right? And the 10-year treasury bonds also increased to 4.08%, right? So these are pretty significant moves in the bond market, right? Especially the 2-year, the T-note 2, right? 16-year high and 5.12%. Key news events to watch out this week: Wednesday, right? You got inflation at 1 p.m. So those are you guys who want to know when that is, right? I usually just go to Forex Factory, right? Here over the Forex Factory, you can see this is for the week ahead, July 9 to July 15. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to watch out for Wednesday is, of course, the CPI, PPI, the core CPI, right? This is what I'm referring to by U.S. inflation. I'm not going to talk too much about talking about all this here because it's written over here. Sorry, it's written over here. If you do want to see what's the expected, what's the forecasted, right? But what it does mean is that even though a decrease in inflation is generally viewed as positive, it's not expected to change the Fed's plan to increase interest rates this month. It should influence the long-term interest rate expectations. All right. Another thing on Wednesday, too, right? You got RBNZ's rate decision at 3 a.m. GMT plus 1, right? And you got the BOC rate decision at 3 p.m. GMT plus 1, right? So it's also over here. There you go, the overnight rate over here, and we got the RBMZ official cash rate. So Wednesday, if you look at it, right, it's a big day. We got the markets being moved for Kiwi, right? The markets definitely being moved for USD, right? Markets definitely being moved by CAD, right? So it's going to be a big day on Wednesday. So keep a lookout for that. All right. I don't want to dive too much into this, but basically, yes, you know, BOC announced that there'll be a 70% chance that it will increase the cash rate from 0.25 to 5%. It's expected that market will already kind of price this in already, right? And it kind of follows an unexpected increase by the same 25 basis points, right, in June due to ongoing inflationary pressures, right, after a 5-month break in policy firming, right? Thursday, take note US PPI inflation data, right? So we kind of want to take a look over here, right? Thursday, US PPI inflation data, right? And of course, Friday we got a preliminary UOM statement, right? And I think I just highlighted that. Yes, sorry, there's not much else on the other days that we need to take a look out for. Okay, now let's jump into some of the other exciting stuff, and that is YouTube. I need to use the official IC Markets YouTube for this. All right, so here we go. We are going to do a quick review on what we forecasted last week versus how it turned out, right? It's always the most fun part of our of our day, right? Seeing how our forecast kind of turned out. Most of the time it kind of worked out well. Those of you guys who have hung around long enough, those are guys who have hung around long enough would kind of more or less know that we have a pretty decent kind of hit rate. Nick is asking, you know, what are the expectations on the Kiwi dollar, right? I am going to make a forecast on that based on technicals, not fundamentals, because I think that fundamentals is, you know, it's the economic. Where is it over here? This news event over here, the cash rate statement, even if they keep it at 5.5%, the only thing that can really move the markets here is if it's a surprise, right? If they increase the interest rates. Okay, now it's hard to say for that for fundamentals, but it's a lot easier to forecast it for technicals, right? So I think today I'll be showing you how even when everyone was wondering when is the dollar yen reversal going to happen, we managed to forecast it very well yesterday. We managed to forecast DXY, I think, right? We managed to forecast quite a number of it, and it's actually based on technicals, not fundamentals. The fundamentals kind of let you know that the news event is coming, right? But and maybe a longer term fundamentals kind of give you an idea of like, okay, so USD is supposed to continue to strengthen over time, right? But in terms of the how we trade it, I kind of would jump into the technicals a little bit more. Okay, sorry, just let me go back to the where is it? Here. Yeah, I just come back to here. Maybe I'll maximize this. Yeah. Okay, so the first one that we're gonna take a look at, I think not much change over here. Bitcoin, right? Last week we forecasted that it will hold below this level, right? It will hold below the big resistance level and kind of hold at the 3562 level. And if any chance, you probably come up here and make a reversal back down, right? I think since then, what has happened is that yes, did price did kind of shoot up here, test this level, and then come back down. And of course, it did not break this first support level that we highlighted. All right, this first support level, if you take a look at it, oh, sorry. This first support level that we highlighted at 3562, price continues, right? 3562 to kind of test that level. I think I tweaked it throughout the day. 3562, just that level. It's not able to fully break it yet. So true enough, we are kind of forecasting that yes, a little bit of resistance up there. It needs to break this level with confidence to trigger the move down. If anyone's on crypto, what I think might happen needs to break this level. Okay, definitely needs to break this level, this first support level, to trigger the move down to here. Why I'm not playing a too big move down is because of this ascending support, right? This ascending support kind of suggests to us that it's a little bit tough to forecast it to break the ascending support, but it's enough to forecast that it probably has a decent chance that if it drops, it drops to this second support level. Okay, yeah. So don't want to waste too much time updating an old analysis that we did, right? But yeah, so crypto on Bitcoin on this front, watch out for the break of this 29923 level, right? Of course, Ahmed, we will definitely look at euro dollar, pound dollar, and dollar franc. Those are our key markets, right? Key major markets. We'll never go through a pre-market analysis without looking at them. Okay. Now, I don't think we even look much at that. Let's jump, right? Let's jump to. Don't want to jump too much, but okay, let's jump to euro dollar. Okay. No, DXY. We need to go to DXY first. Okay, so DXY last week we forecasted that it will drop below the 103.43 level. I can see us closing my eyes in that forecast. 103.43 for it to drop down. What has happened to DXY? Very nicely, you have seen it started to drop. This was the drop that we forecasted, right? And yep, it just dropped perfectly. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, right? I think we're on the right side of that DXY bearishness, which is why we have been correct for a lot of the calls, I think last week, right? Being on the right, forecasting DXY, which is the dollar index, correctly, right, kind of puts you in the right position for a lot of the other setups that we're looking at. So what do we expect for DXY now? Okay. Hmm. Um, Still expect a little bit of bearishness, but I'll be pretty wary. Um, I'll be pretty wary of this intermediate support. Okay, at 102.13. Now remember, when it comes to trading, right, guys, it's not about always taking a position, bullish, bearish, or neutral. Okay. Now a lot of people like to go bullish or bearish. Very few people like to kind of just go neutral, right? And why is because of these kind of moments, right? You need to you last time in our trading firm, we used to call it the downside confirmation, right? So this movement here, right? This line over here is what is a level that needs to be broken to trigger the move down, right? So that's what I mean by downside confirmation, right? I do think it's going to continue the fall too, Ahmed, right? But I'll be a little bit wary of this 102. If it breaks this 102.13, it will continue, it will give me much more confidence for price to drop further, right? So a lot of it hinges on this, right? So I have a weaker bearish bias, right? If price is above this intermediate support line, right? And I think it happens it happens to be a 61.8 projection too. Yeah, there we go. It's just about 61.8 projection there, right? So I have a weaker bearish bias if price is below price is above the 102.13. So I'm still kind of expecting bearishness, right? We should still continue to see price dropping, right? For DXY. So this is then where we jump into euro dollar, pound dollar, and dollar franc. Okay. So let's go to pound. No, let's go euro dollar first because it's more strongly correlated with DXY. So for euro dollar, we forecasted that this Elliott wave structure 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 4, and 5. We expected euro dollar to strengthen towards the 1.0037 level. Okay. I think we were even on the 4-hour chart, right? So yeah, we are forecasting for it to strengthen towards the 1.0037. It has strengthened, right? Hasn't reached that level yet, but it kind of rose quite nicely. So this is how you kind of use that little bit of Elliott structure, Elliott wave structure in order to forecast like, a 1, 2, 3 corrective 4, and then price taking off for 5. All right, so fair bit of Elliott wave analysis. I have been trained, of course, I've been trained in Elliott wave analysis by the very, very best, right? And my personal opinion is that Elliott wave is a little bit tricky to apply unless you correlate it across multiple instruments, right? Meaning that you can't look at just the Elliott wave count of euro dollar. You need to look at euro dollar, dollar franc, and literally almost every single market to be able to forecast the Elliott wave count nicely, right? So I use it a little bit more sparingly, right? Only when it's a very clear market structure for us to take. And a word of, I guess, like a pro tip is that when it comes to Elliott wave analysis, if you ever see yourself using it, right? My personal opinion on where the best entry level is for Elliott wave is on the wave 4, right? So in this case, right, we have 1 up here, we have 2, we got 3. A lot of people try to play wave 3, right? They try to play this big move over here, right? Because they think that wave 3 is the longest wave. You should be taking wave 3, as your trade, as your maximum potential. The problem with wave 3 is that it's very hard to forecast, right? There isn't that many rules that are or guidelines that help you define where wave 3 is. But wave 4, this part here, right? Just let me, yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Wave 4, right? Very hard to trade, but wave 5 to me is the profitable one. Why is wave 5 the profitable one? Right. Firstly, wave 4 cannot go into wave 1 territory over here, right? If this is 1 and this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. So the first rule is that wave 1 cannot go into wave 4 territory. Okay. The second rule is the rule of alternance, right? Meaning that the corrective wave on 1 and 2, right? If this is short, right, this is usually slightly longer. So it's very visually obvious when you see that. Okay. Then so you got 2 rules now, right? The third rule is that the corrective distance of wave 2 tends to be the same as the corrective distance of wave 4. So you guys know how to use Fibonacci projections. You attended my webinars on it before. So that is how you do 100% Fibonacci projection, right? Fourth rule is that wave 2 to wave 3 you know, 38 to 61% retracement is where wave 4 should land up. Okay, and of course, from the entire move from wave 1 to wave 3, you take a retracement, it should be, I think there's a number, I think it's probably 38% or 50%, right? So you got 1, you got 2, you got 3, you got 4. I think it's 4 or 5 main confirming points, right, to tell you that this is the end of wave 4. And then to kind of play the bounce, right? And of course, if you think about it, right, if you think about it, wave, this is like a pullback support, right? Always talk about a pullback support level, right? And for pure graphical reasons, it's also a nice level to play a bounce from, right? So my personal favorite is playing wave 5, not wave 3. Okay, Amar Yamil, nice to see you tune in nice and early, right? So yeah, Italy, if you're in Italy, is probably in the evening, right? If I'm not wrong, right? So yeah, this is the reason when it comes to Elliott wave, right? Give you little bits and pieces of what my opinion on them, right? But all right, so euro dollar, man, we still think it might go up further. Let me just delete this Elliott wave structure. Um, but wow, a little bit tricky. Mm. If we are expecting, right? So if we're expecting DXY to weaken further, we should be expecting euro dollar to strengthen further. Now, the risky thing over here now. Oh no, sorry, this is pound dollar. Right? I clicked on the wrong one. I clicked on the wrong one, right? So yeah, we should be expecting. See, that's the thing. This intermediate resistance that you see over here is equivalent to this intermediate support that you're seeing on DXY just about over here, right? So if DXY breaks this, then we can expect euro dollar to similarly break it to kind of continue its move upwards. Okay, it continues move upwards, potentially even all the way to here, right? Although to here would be a big enough move. Okay, it needs to really break that level. So on the 4-hour charts, right, I'll be waiting for euro dollar to break this intermediate resistance. I'm sorry, but I have to highlight another intermediate resistance over here, right? Price reversing very nicely off these levels. Okay, if it closes above this, I'll watch for it to very easily, it should very easily, relatively easily make a move up to here, and it needs to break this to confirm the move up, right? It's the same picture that we're seeing on DXY. It needs to break this level, right? It needs to break this level to trigger the move down and beyond. Okay, so our last thing that we're going to look at, of course, is okay, not last thing. We're going to look at dollar franc and pound dollar to see how that lines up next. Okay, so dollar franc, our forecast last week on dollar franc for dollar yen. Sorry, for dollar franc. Yeah, dollar franc, we forecasted a reversal below 0.900, basically 0.90, right? We forecasted it to drop, right? Since then, it has dropped very nicely. Oh, we're making good money, right? And what do we expect from it over here? Okay, tricky. Nice bit of bearish momentum taking prices down. This would be probably my second resistance. Okay, I'm going to probably zoom in a little bit more. Okay, it might be my first resistance, but what I'm looking at is a potential break over here, right? A potential break, first resistance. That means, right? That means we could be seeing price make a bigger push this week, to go all the way down, right, to first support. So if this happens, that means, well, dollar franc is the leading instrument between euro dollar and DXY, right? It's suggesting to us, right, that there is actually a bearish breakout already, and it should have a an unchallenged route all the way down to the 8830 level, right? Joey, nice to see you, right? Good morning. It is morning here, right? Yes, thanks for tuning in, right? So yeah, we're expecting a drop to 8830. If this is a move we're expecting on dollar franc, right? Remember, a dollar franc and euro dollar move in like negative correlation, meaning that one goes up, the other goes down, right? Just to show you what that means, right? You can come in here. Actually, we'll come in here, and first thing I'll do is load DXY. You notice that DXY tends to follow dollar franc in tandem quite a bit, right? It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, right? The markets tend to move pretty much similarly to each other. Okay, so that's the first thing. So if the dollar franc is expected to go down, right? Yeah, don't worry, Ahmed. You can feel free to ask. Bluebird, thanks for tuning in, right? So yeah, if you have a question or correlation, you can ask, right? So in this case, dollar franc and DXY has a pretty positive correlation. Now, how would I would look at this thing called the correlation coefficient. I thought I would have it here. Uh, correlation correlation coefficient, right? Um, so firstly, DXY, right? DXY, let's just go here, okay? You notice that there's the value is pretty close to 1, right? So I just expanded the chart over here. You notice that the value is pretty close to 1, right? It's usually above 0, positive correlation, and it's usually pretty close to 1. So that shows that dollar franc and DXY has a strong positive correlation. Okay, if I change this, right, to euro dollar, for example, right, if you change this to euro dollar, you notice that the value is close to -1 because the markets tend to move in opposite direction of each other, right, for dollar franc and euro dollar. Okay, yeah, DEX, we got a reversal on DEX pretty nicely. Let me take a look at it in a bit. All right, okay. Okay, Ahmed's asking, can we depend on this correlation beside a confirmation by technical analysis, right? To a certain extent, yes. I think personally, I use correlation to help me avoid a lot of false breakouts and also to help me confirm a lot of valid breakouts. So usually, correlation is very good in helping you know if something is amiss, right? So there are a few ways to use correlation, right? So let's use this example over here. I got DXY. I'm just going to remove this correlation coefficient, right? USD, Nick, not entirely, right? Like, yes and no in some sense. Like, but for example, Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar, not XXX USD, Aussie dollar, and NZD USD don't necessarily follow the opposite, right? How you can tell is just using the correlation coefficient. So Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar actually follow each other a lot more closely, right? Dollar franc follows euro dollar and DXY a lot more closely. Pound dollar kind of follows euro dollar slightly more closely, right? So in this example, right, if we forecasted that price is gonna break this level to drop, and euro dollar needs, which is also strongly negatively correlated, needs to break a few levels to break out. But on the last hand, dollar franc is already telling me that there's a breakout, right? So what correlation is, there are two ways to look at it. One, you can use dollar franc as the leading indicator that a breakout is already happening, right? So we should be confident that the breakout is going to happen on euro dollar and DXY. A more conservative approach would be to say that, wait, if euro dollar and DXY haven't broken out, that means dollar franc has not broken out, right? It's living in its own little land, right? And you should exercise more caution that this might be a fake breakout. So there are two ways to kind of look at it. Okay, it's really a case on how many for and how many against, right? So in this case, we got euro dollar and dollar franc versus dollar, euro dollar and DXY versus dollar franc. So dollar franc might be the lower probability kind of setup. Okay. Okay. Good choice, Nick. Good choice. And Kelvin, nice to see you tune in. Right. So dollar franc kind of thinking that it might drop further, but let's look at some of the other heavy hitters too, because the DXY is formed by a basket of instruments, right? We are looking at pound dollar now, right? So for pound dollar, I think we are forecasting for pound dollar to continue rising from this level, right? Continue rising from this level because of the bullish momentum. I think it did rise quite nicely. Yep. So pound dollar did bounce from the first support level that we highlighted. This was the first support. We're forecasting it for it to bounce above the momentum. It has continued to bounce very nicely, and damn right, it is right on that resistance again. Look at it. It's on this now. It's on a swing high, a pretty big swing high resistance over there. Huh. So that's the thing, right? If it had broken this resistance, I'll be a lot more confident of it continuing up into the future, right? But it's just about testing this swing high resistance over here. Now, what is causing my computer to lag a bit? Let me close some programs on the background. Experiencing a little bit of lag. Okay, hopefully it's better now. Okay, yeah, so that's the problem. Now look at pound dollar, right? Is right on resistance over here. If I zoom in on the 4 hour chart, right? Yeah, pretty tough to say that it's not on resistance. So we got pound dollar on resistance, we got DXY on support, we got euro dollar on resistance. The only thing that is running ahead of the pack is dollar franc. Man, this makes it very tricky for us. Makes it tricky for us. That's why I think that right, we might see a smaller bounce on yeah, it's a 3-1 already. We might see a bounce on dollar franc on DXY first. We might see a bounce on DXY, we should see a reversal on euro dollar, right? So in this case, we likely not it's a little bit tougher to see these levels. One way is to watch for the reversal. The other way is to wait for the confirmation, right? Is to wait for the confirmation. This is surely the record. Thank you, Nick. Right? Yeah, if you want to make your first million, you can. You just watch all the previous recordings that we did. It teaches you all the good stuff, right? That I don't think you can get anywhere else, for free at least, right? Or even if you pay for it, it's hard for you to get the quality of education we teach, anywhere else, right? So, guys, are you able to hear me clearly? Right, YouTube is saying is that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. I just want to ensure that you guys are able to see me and hear me clearly. Okay, clear. So I'm just closing some programs so that yeah, hopefully it doesn't slow things down. Okay, right now let's look at let's take a quick look at dollar yen. Maybe dollar yen didn't do that. Okay, gold, right? Let's take a look at gold. That's one of the good things. Yeah, I think gold was on a free fall, right? A free fall, and I think a lot of people are forecasting it to drop further, right? But we called the support level at 1905. As you can see, 1905, the support level. I think it worked out quite nicely. So let me go into the 1 day chart. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it bounced very nicely from our 1905 level, right, and tested the intermediate resistance at 1934. If I zoom in a little bit more, you can see that yeah, it bounces and tests the intermediate resistance before reversing. So it's the same thing here. We are forecasting the support level and the intermediate resistance. Okay, so yeah, I think it worked out quite nicely. What I like is that it actually respected the intermediate resistance. That shows that we get the support right, we get the resistance right. Now, what do we expect might happen for gold? Oh man, I don't think it's gonna range. Um, it is a big resistance, right? So I'm gonna put this as a second resistance here, right? And this would be my first resistance. Okay, this would be my first resistance. So I'll wait for I need a confirmation. Again, sorry guys. Sorry, I'm a guy who sometimes I do make the calls when I can, but when when price is in between a key resistance and a key support, right? Very difficult, right? Very difficult, right? I will try to wait for price to make a confirmation. If it breaks the first resistance, it goes up, right? If it doesn't break the first resistance, it breaks the first support, it should go down. But this is what I call an upside and downside confirmation. We need to wait for the levels to be broken to confirm the move because we are in a very, very tight, little bit of very tight level around here, a range, right? So it'd be difficult to kind of forecast a move. We need levels to be broken to confirm the move. All right, so this I hope this gives you an idea of like what we expect on gold. Okay, it's still a major support. I have a slight bias that it might bounce, it might break this level and kind of rise up to the second resistance. Okay, now that's for gold. We got gold, we got pound dollar, dollar yen. I have a feeling dollar yen didn't do that well. Oh, we did, right? So, dollar yen rising very nicely to this key overlap resistance. We are taught that price was a little bit extended away from the ascending support, right? From the bullish Ichimoku, even though it was showing a lot of bullish momentum, we forecasted for price to reverse off the first resistance to drop down to the 142.16 level, right? I think since then, super nice, right? Price reversed exactly down to our first support down here at 142.16, right? So another good call, I think. I'd say another good call. Should have backed a little bit, quite a bit of money already, right? If you've been following the analysis, I think yeah, it should be hugely, hugely positive, right? Hugely positive, right? The 3-2 now. What does 3-2 mean? Oh, you mean the DXL? Yes, that's true, right? So this does DXY offer any bias on gold? I don't think so, because but technically the US dollar and gold are both safe havens, right? Where money is supposed to flock to when the going gets tough. But I don't think it has been working out that well, right? So if you come here and you look and I threw up I just threw up DXY over here, right? Just threw up DXY. You notice that it doesn't really follow it that much. Sometimes it does, sometimes it just goes completely against it, right? So okay, a more easier, more factual way to kind of look at it is technically by the correlation coefficient, right? Yeah, but you come over here and you throw in dxy, right? You throw in dxy, the correlation, it fluctuates between 1 and -1, right? Quite a bit. So I don't think DXY offers any meaningful kind of correlation between goal. It used to in the past, and theoretically, it's supposed to make a little bit of sense, right? But it doesn't seem like it does for us. So I don't use DXY to forecast that much of correlation, right? So Ahmed, right? I'm not going to forecast that much of I'm not using gold as much of a proxy to correlate with DXY. If you want a correlation with DXY, the ones that I will stick to euro dollar, followed by dollar franc, followed by pound dollar, right? Maybe dollar yen, right? Dollar yen, hmm, dollar yen. Good that we got the call right, right? You should be making a fair bit of money. Now, what could happen in this move? Where's the 23? Where's the 38% Fibonacci? I'm just going to stop here for a while. I'm going to do a quick refresh on this page. Seems to be, I felt like it loaded too much correlation coefficients, right? So it's kind of slowing things down a bit. B, man, I have a pretty good internet connection, so it's unlikely to kind of slow down that much. Frustrating. Yeah, I don't have anything random that is open here. Quit my mail account. All right, so okay, but back at dollar yen, 23% Fibonacci retracement down there. I like that level. I don't think it lines up, right? I don't think it lines up with a Fibonacci projection. Yeah, Fibonacci projection is slightly further away. I want to say that this is a level. At the same time, this is a very clear support level. Man, everything's either like support or resistance. It's a little bit tricky to make this call today, guys. It's a bit tricky. But I think there's a lot of it suggesting, right? Uh, Theoretically, right, if dollar yen is going to bounce, it suggests that there's bullish USD, right? So I do expect it to kind of drop a bit, right? Drop a bit to a 23% before bouncing off. Okay, so that means DXY might see roughly the same thing. We might see roughly the same thing on DXY. That means, right, I will kind of be seeing DXY make a bounce first, right? Oh, sorry. Shit, sorry, I mean, how do I remove this thing? Okay, yeah, for DXY, I'll probably look for a bounce first, right, of this support before potentially a bigger move down, right? So I've seen enough that I think that we're going to see a little bit of a USD strength. Euro dollar should probably might reverse a bit. Pound dollar might reverse a bit, right? That means dollar franc is a little bit tricky. We might the breakout might not be that great for dollar franc. It might have a mind on its own to continue going down, but if anything, it could just spike down and then bounce up from here, right? It could spike down and then really do a nice little bounce from here, right? Definitely key support to kind of look at. Okay, so at least that's what looks like the picture. Okay, Kelvin, that's interesting. So it's not just me, right? Well, Nick, yeah, I don't think I'm not sure if another intervention is gonna happen again, right? It's very tricky, right? It's a little bit hard to forecast, but if you think about it, right? If you think about it, last week, you need to trust in the technicals, right? You need to trust in technicals and not go too much into the speculation of fundamentals, right? So why were we able to forecast the reversal from here all the way down to here? A lot of it is technicals, right? If you do technicals correctly, you can tend to forecast the markets more accurately, even before the news comes out, right? Because while the market is pricing it in, you already have the forecast in place. Okay, so yeah, I would say okay, I try to take a look at pound yen. We don't have much time left, right? But yeah, let me see. I do want to cover a few more things, right? CAD franc, that works out very nicely. We're forecasting a reversal on CAD franc. This, remember, from 2 weeks ago, I've been saying it was my trade of the week, right? For CAD franc to drop. Since then, CAD franc has been dropping, I think, right? So yeah, CAD franc has been dropping very strongly. If you got in on the position, should be making a good amount of money, right? I think we got this level that has been broken over here, right? So I would put this as a potential re-entry point, if you want to play the move further down. Okay. All right, so one of the calls of the last few weeks, cat frank reversal. Hope you got in on it, guys. It should be making pretty decent money, right? DEX, I think for DEX, um, DEX, we highlighted the resistance here for price to continue to reverse from it. I think, yeah, I think about just about the DEX over here, right? Continue to reverse nicely. Now it's back down here. So this now forms my first resistance. This now forms my second resistance, right? I do then see price dropping down to my first support over here, right? Breaking this level, right? So this will now be my first support, right? And breaking this level, a further continuation down to super big major support level down here, okay? Very, very nice overlap. As you can see, price has been responding to this level many times in the past, right? So yeah, if it is likely to kind of see a drop now, um, just let me further fine tune this. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably likely to see a drop from first resistance all the way down to the first support, right? This would probably be my bias for DEX. Okay. Yeah, this would probably be my bias for DEX. I think I do need to cover the Dow. Dow, we are forecasting for a reversal of this level back down first, right? I think it did the DJ30. The DJ30 did reverse very nicely, approaching our ascending support where we should be, could be expecting a nice little bounce. Another, what is this? This could be the week that we have 100% hit rate. One of the weeks, one of the couple of weeks that we have, um, they have a very nice, close to 100% hit rate. Yeah, I would probably put this as like the intermediate support. Um, support line over here. Yeah, so probably gonna see it kind of test this level before bouncing up a bit. I wouldn't play it beyond this resistance, right? Playing up to this level would just about be enough. Okay, guys. Okay, we have request for pound yen. All right. I think you did request a pound yen a while ago. I can tell you with confidence that I have no idea where pound yen is going. Okay. I have really no idea where pound yen is going. It's just rising very strongly and it's a bit hard to find any technical levels for me to take trades from. So pound yen, very difficult for me to forecast it. Don't ask me to, because I can only highlight the key support 174, intermediate resistance at 189.27, and the key resistance at 196. In between, there's hardly any levels. We did forecast for it to stop and slow down a bit and reverse, but that's not a very high confidence call. Okay, guys. Yeah, so I hope you found today's session useful. Did I miss out anything? Oh, maybe I'll just take a look at Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar. Not much change on Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar. Yeah, honestly, there isn't much change. This remains the key overlap, key support, key resistance. Hard for me to squeeze out anything, right? Kiwi dollar, probably need to zoom into the 4-hour chart to see anything meaningful. Even then, a little bit hard to call anything, right? For Kiwi dollar. Yes, guys, please help me like the video. It will help me a lot. And one thing that we're trying to look out for is that if you found this video useful or you like it, right, and you want to drop a testimony, you can do it in the comment section too, right? It will help us a lot, right? Yeah, because I guess people do watch this video and they actually do look at the chat replay. Yeah, so if you instead of looking at like Survey Monkey and stuff, yeah. So if you found this, if you have found the pre-market analysis to be useful, right? Yeah, feel free to send in nice little comments, right, in the live chat. People do appreciate it, right? But I do think this would be probably my first resistance over here. A little bit tricky, right? A little bit tricky with my intermediate resistance over here, right? And yeah, probably gonna see a little bit of dollar strength too. Yeah, dollar strength too. Even the Kiwi, right? Kiwi dollar is suggesting that we might see a little bit of dollar strength first over there. So yeah, maybe, maybe yeah, we might DXY might see a bounce first before anything else. Yeah, DXY might see a bounce first before anything else, and the second resistance up here. Okay. Yeah. So that's the view for this week. Dollar CAD reversing nicely, testing a key resistance level, a bit tricky. %50 retracement about over here. This would probably be my first support, and this would be my second support. Thank you very much for the kind words, Ahmed. Right. Okay. This would, yeah, a little bit hard to forecast dollar CAD. Definitely overlap support, second support, first resistance. Market, if you ask me, is a little bit in the middle of nowhere, right? It's not on this level. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's a little bit in the middle of nowhere. So I won't try to maybe take a trade on dollar CAD yet because it's not as clear as the other setups that we're looking at. Yeah, not as clear, right? Not as clear. So I will err on the side of caution for this. Okay. Thank you very much for staying throughout this session, guys. Right. Spring call, yeah, it's don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. I think like people might get stressed out. Don't worry. Yeah. Thanks. It's already not bad. It's already like not bad. It's like it's close to what 2/3, right? So there's more than I can ask for. Thank you very much for hanging out with me throughout this entire session, right? Yes, the pre-market analysis on Wednesday, no, the midweek review on Wednesdays still being discussed, right? But if it goes through, it's for you guys, all right? Right. So yeah, remember to find the Survey Monkey link, and I believe most of you have left your feedback there, right? Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Kelvin. Thank you, Ahmad. Thank you, Leandro. Right, Amar, Nick. Thank you very much, guys. That's right, Rhino. The best traders know when to not trade. So you trade when the market gives you clear direction, right? When you see a clear movement, when there's confidence, like last week. This week, I think the market's on a lot of key turning points, so it might pay off. Every money, every cent, every dollar that you avoid losing is a dollar that you earn, right? So thank you very much, Rhino. Right. I have a great week, and I'll probably go get some sleep after this. Right. Let's hope we have another great week of trading, making good money. Right. It's always a pleasure seeing you guys tune in on a Sunday, right, or super early Monday morning with me. Right. Keeps me going. Right. So yeah, nice to see you guys around. Stay safe, trade safe. Peace out, guys. Peace out. Bye bye.